Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Happy Wednesday. This is another amazing conversation. Before we start, let me make sure I'm actually, live because this is internet and you know how that's going to go. So let me make sure I'm actually live and then we get this conversation started. I'm excited for today's conversation, Tatiana, because it's one of these things that I think that a lot of patients that I come across get confused, and a lot of people have this confused when it comes to Medicare. So I think it's a very important conversation to for people to get and understand what that means for them, right? So we live. All right, so this is Karen here, your favorite virtual assistant. Today we have Tatiana Torres, who is a specialized insurance agent for 26 years. Okay, she works for all different payers, but in the last 10 years, she's been specialized in Medicare. So if you have any questions, this is why we got this. We got you right here. So Tatiana, tell us, who are you? Let people know who you are, honey. Who are you? For those who don't know about you, they're gonna know today.
Yeah, introduction, Karen, and this is a live for probably like 6 months. We were talking about it, and finally it's coming. I'm very excited about it.
Yes.
And I those conversations that you and has, you, you know, Medicare, that we hopefully, all, if we are blessed enough to, but many people have missed because it change all the time.
Yep.
And I've been talking about it at one point that this is a senior market, people 65, and then maybe if it's somebody in my culture, never had nothing to do with Medicare, really exists in the United States of America. So the country, not necessarily Latin America, comes from another country like from Germany or Belgium or Spain, there is, or even Canada, they don't benefits to health insurance like we do. So it's like because it's just a bunch of every year. The insurance, the network changes. Somebody probably was used to or learn because they help a relative. Reality today, which it makes it more difficult to deal with big black cloud around Medicare, which I think that it only to kind of answer your question. Sorry, so like my name and an immigrant, even though I have a blue passport and wonderful United States of America. I'm thankful that my roots in American. I love my people. I love, and that's specifically what I focus. Because you will find many people the 80s or the 90s and work here first, and maybe they can, for whatever reason, they didn't go to the culture here, and now they also, when it comes to Medicare, insurance industry, like you said, for 26 years, my career in an agency many years ago. I'm bookkeeper by the school, and I got an accounting, mentioning finances. I never thought person, but I don't call it a salesperson. I think helping people right product for them. So I had this when I talk to seniors or even or the sons of the senior that might not be the right option for the honesty and transparency is very important. I think that we lead by and many people watches this video or they say that nobody can say that I trick anyone or I lie to anyone. I have term belief that if there is no reason to improve the senior life with her, then I shouldn't even be discussing those situations have had in the past. It's very important to lead with transparency. So I decided to go into it because I think that they are grateful that we are there to help them. Don't even know. I think that you and I even did that. Sometimes a senior think that it's a doctor, and it's not. Sometimes the company's fault. Sometimes it's not. There's so many pieces to the puzzle. Sometimes then something gets lost in so many things in the process, and we're in the same place to help from the operation side of and management portion of it. Working together, we can give a better service to the team, appreciative of what we do and how we can translate. Because even then, some of the people that I deal with very good English speaking because they've been here for native, English, born people here. They don't understand, half of the stuff. And I help my mother-in-law that has been 20 years and is been in the for 30 years and is still some trouble with the whole system. That's kind of what my base is, just on the seniors. But I have done all my auto home, umbrella life, and retirement rollovers. I've been to plethora of options in insurance for so long. So I kind of like it.
Yeah, but what I like. I mean, especially working with the seniors, right? Because that is really the population of people that is very much underserved because a lot of them they don't really a lot of professionals, at least in the doctor's office, because it's a busy, they're busy. This usually don't have time to break down to the seniors they benefits in the insurance, right? A lot of them don't understand the benefits that they have, right? What different parts of Medicare. A lot of them don't understand that. So I like that you take the time to break it down to them and you work along with the doctor's office. If they have a patient that have any questions about billing or anything within their benefits, and you sit with them for them to get an understanding of their Medicare, whether it's Medigap, whether it's Medicare Advantage, right? Benefits, because a lot of them don't understand that. So first thing is, let's break down for people the different parts of Medicare, because I think people don't understand there's different parts of Medicare. People just probably know what part A and B, but they don't know there's more than one part to it. So you go ahead, and I'm gonna put the parts in the comments and then put them up so they can read them too. Okay, so you break it down to them, girl.
Well, not only there, I think that the first confusion that every Social Security Administration to like have part A. Know that part B there's a charge for it, being $164.90. Social Security Administration, they say, well, is that in reality is optional because I have it, but it's not optional. They don't have any other kind of insurance that is a fine. Like most people was because they have a problem or they need that thing. The first thing when I kind of the ad, I said, what happened to Social Security, and they told me that it's optional. There is a language in there, not only because it's English or Spanish, it's because by law they cannot force you to have it, right? Like they're saying you have to have what for Social Security Administration means option. As a consumer, technically part B is what is all the utilization. So like you said very well, part A is any hospitalization. So if somebody, for instance, they sleep and they need to have an operation, put those, needles, they put the bone together. That's an operation to the hospital. So that would be B. Part A, I'm sorry, part hospital. And then the rest, like imagine like broke their leg and they need, and they went into operation to kind of, right, just in this case, or in this example, need probably treatment. And most people need to go to, into therapy, 5 times, 10 times to therapy or to therapy, whatever it is. And that so everything that is not, you don't need to be admitted. Like if it's ambulatory services, like some people have surgery in the eye, or some people need machine people that they have a sleep apnea, for instance, that in their, so then they forget to kind of breathe, quote unquote, or they need the strips for diabetic machines for diabetics, or they want all of that goes into Part B. So see how if somebody denies Part B a bit, or I don't want to pay if we cannot afford the $164. The reality, people sometimes they say no because they realize that their check is going to come with receiving $1,200 a month, and when they hear, oh, you're going to get only 40 or 30, why? I'm going to get only $1,036.
Right.
Oh, it's because you're Part B. Because most seniors, they say, so then Social Security says, oh, optional. Well, it's optional, but you're not going to, you know what I mean? And even at that cover everything, it covers 80%, like 60% is co-insurance. Now, clear co-insurance is the portion of money that the consumer as a co-share. So imagine that the consultation office, imagine that your doctor charges to every visit. So if the dollars, so then the co-pay only original Medicare, that's Part A and Part B, $20. Now that's not a big deal. It's only $100. But if the big dollars, that's $200. If the that's $2,000. For instance, I had a case with that he had only original Medicare, and he had, I think that was cataracts, or because Part A and Part B Medicare, dental, no vision, no hearing, no prescription. Keep in mind those 4 things. Many people say they don't need anything else. That you don't need anything else because we have to have preventive care and in case of emergency, meaning that you have to have us. But actually, technically, which I think that ridiculous, dental vision is considered not part of the primary or the mandatory care in the law, or part of Medicare. So I don't understand why I cannot get glasses. Was the case of this gentleman. He couldn't get because he was having cataracts, so go into the Part B as I read ambulatory. So 500 more or less in the optometrist list. So that's 5,000, right? 1,000 is $1,000. The gentleman didn't have they give you the additional things you have to put on. So then the Santa said he also has a 20% co-insurance for him to see, to 30 days or 40 days later, he more or less what the doctor's office takes, right, to 45 days to send the bill at that he had to pay $22,000.
Yeah.
That that he for the service that he got, but I call Social Security anymore, and I said, well, it's because himself in a position of recommending you. Social Security cannot sell you. If you ask for a plan, they will tell you or talk to a broker like me, or licensed by the state. If you advise plans, and we can be in 28 states, so customers all around practically the country, biggest cities. So I have people, and it's the same kind of coverage is the plans, the Medicare Part A, and then we have Part A that I told you, hospitalization services, anything that doesn't have to do with hospitalization. Part D, that is drug coverage, and that's for your drugs. So the average senior, what I mean is above 60 years old, take 4. That's the average. That's 75% of population. In this country, we cannot go like you in Peru. You can go to the pharmacy
Mm-hmm.
and say, give me 10 of those, and then that's it, right? Uh, Here is a little more complicated. To the doctor, and doctor has to prescribe the prescription. You go to the pharmacy, and although there are coupons, because when a coupon and I was paying only 10, that's not drugs. That's a coupon for you to have
Mm.
um, price. Reality is not rich. So also, if you don't have no, there is a fine too that is done to work without coverage. Seniors, they get surprised years without the 20%, without Part D coverage, and then you know when they finally need it, prescription, and then they either, why do I have an extra $20 fine when this fine is going to end, and reality is for life. So very annoyed by it. And see the card, Medicare card, it comes with that it says Medicare and you. It's a very probably 25, 30 pages stuff is outlined there. But I look at the thing and I said, what do I need to put it aside? I will wait for my son to come home and read it, or my grandson. And I did, we're so busy that they forget about that. By the time that they get there, they already have. What is important for you to expect as soon as you get your card, because you get the opportunity, to be a.
Tatiana, I'm sorry to cut you off, darling. Somebody you mentioned your audio is cutting out. Giselle just mentioned it. Your
Can you
audio
hear
is cutting
me all
out.
right? But can you hear me all right, Karen, or
It sounds a little
you
in
cannot
and
hear me?
out.
I think that is because I'm in here. Okay, let me
Come on, like a
turn
little
this
bit
off.
of static.
I turned this off right now, so let's see how. So hopefully it will be best kind of a brown that I had before. Like I was saying, I'm sorry, it's it's a headache for seniors is that they have a small little committee that is called initial enrollment, and initial enrollment period 3 months before their birthday, the month of the birth after. So let's use an example. Turning 65 now in March. Somebody that turns 65
Oh, you said
now in
okay.
March.
Let's break that down because that's going. Let's break that initial enrollment thing down because that really is confusing. You know how they have so many initial protocols and CMS has so many guidelines and all of that, but initial enrollment, how does that work exactly? Because I know you just are going to talk about it, but let's say
Yeah,
for instance
this
I'm 65. Let's start March 1st, right?
yeah,
So how
yeah,
does
yeah, yeah.
that work?
Example, imagine that you are turning 65. That for you to turn 65 in March XYZ. So if you were born in March 8, then you would turn 65 this March 2023. So your card 4 months before your birthday. Meaning you really got your card in December. Get money from Social Security. So if you get it from the government already, it will even asking for it. It just will come in and you don't even have to ask for it. When you don't get benefits from Social Security and you have to apply for it because that they have to wait until March. But in reality, the government send you the paperwork. So I recommend everybody 3 to 4 months before birth. So if you turn 65 in March, like we said in this, and for whatever reason you are working, you get Social Security benefits because you are not going to, but you don't have no health insurance at your, and then you want to get Medicare. That's the way that normally works because benefits are there job. Some do. Sometimes it's too expensive. I have people that these benefits are $1,000 a month. Takes. And I heard Medicare is $5. So many people sometimes they from a cost perspective because for them to keep paying $1,000 a month. For instance, in the East, the West Coast has a different setup, but in the somebody that is 63, 64, co-sharing with the employer at least $400 a month. That is like $100 a week, 165. So sometimes they just want to switch because they cannot afford it. So if they don't receive no Social Security, we can apply for have the ability to apply for them if that's what they want. Social Security and apply, and that between 4 to 8 weeks to arrive. And the way that it works is in March, so you have that period. So you have January and February to apply as December 1st because your car will March 1st. So you have January or February. And you can also apply in your month of, that is March in this case. You can apply 3 months after. Everybody to keep in mind that 3 months of May and June, right? So technically months for you to apply or for you to apply for any kind of benefit. What I want everybody to keep in mind is that you turn 65 already like almost on the corner, right? So if you would have come to me and I didn't apply, I don't have a card, I would say that we are already late. Actually start in March 1st, kind of benefits, then uninsured from March card because you are going to happen as we spoke before, right? So many people anxious because they said, oh, my is going to drop me now that I turn 65, or to me, somebody that says, we can 65 because you should be in Medicare. With Obamacare also expired for Medicare once you turn. So many people are in the rush at the end of it, but I would say yes, because you cannot rush the documentation of for card, and without the card, we cannot have benefits. Call it a supplemental plan G or F, that is supplemental coverage, for a 20%, or which plan, because without that number really linked with your Social Security benefits, have it, I cannot apply for anything. The way that I can give you coverage, for example, first, and we need to submit an application, as late as this month ends on the 28th, so your coverage is the first, and all first of the month, meaning that if you call me, I cannot make it effective for March, become effective April the 1st. So that frame of legality, you're not getting a fines or anything from March 15th that you call me 30th without kind of coverage you effective on the 1st of every month. Do you follow me? Confusing. I'm sorry.
No. I want to make sure people understand. Okay, so essentially she's saying you have 3 months before your 65th birthday to apply for Medicare, and that's only Part A and Part B. That's right. Is that correct?
Yes, through Social Security. I mean, you can apply at any time, but if you have option, then technically you're in enrollment, and then penalties depending on your situation, but penalties can apply. Are conservative penalty.
Okay, so you have 3 months prior to 65 birthday. Then you could apply at 65, that month of you turn 65, and then you could apply 3 months after turning 65. But
yes, ma'am.
She also, Tatiana also mentioned that there are penalties, right? Yes. If you do apply after that after that latter month of turning 65. So I just want people, like she just mentioned, I want people to really be aware of that, because I think people don't understand that there are penalties
Yes.
in from applying late for Medicare,
Yes.
right? So just,
And there
you know,
are rules that I'm not gonna dive, so I don't make it more complicated as it is. But for instance, if the person has a union plan or an employer, if there's supply, they move out of the country, for instance, rated. You know, I mean, there is a bunch of it can apply, and it's more than a one-on-one basis. Say that if your life is normal, enrollment, because it just makes it more complicated. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
and if they're gonna charge you anyhow, for it's not free unless I prove you don't make enough money to live in that. It can be done, but it just gets more complicated. You know, then and if you have to pay for Part B, charge you regardless from March, and you cannot use it. Many people get.
Oh.
I got a bill March, April, and May. I had the benefits, but I didn't have a cost sign up for it. Why they're charging me for it? But you apply late. You know what I mean? It's just we
Right.
not avoid ton of money, because in their brain or in their policy, if you were to be in to the hospital, they would have had to take you eligible, even though you didn't have the car. Without, they would have to take you. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
coverage, you kind of had the coverage, so then that's what they charge. Get upset that they were not, because they didn't receive the car on time, and on time they couldn't sign up for a supplemental plan, whatever they decide to do. Sequence, I have now a bill for 3 months. People get very upset.
Mm.
That's everyone that they call me, don't do enrollment. If you know that you're, if you know that that's the best option for you, it's better to be earlier than like.
Right. Yeah, that's true. And I think you just mentioned supplemental. So I know people get confused between Advantage plans and supplemental Medigap, however they call it. So let's break that down. What is the difference
Yeah,
between an Advantage plan and a supplemental or a Medigap, however they
it's,
put
it's
it?
a
So what is the difference between both of those two?
difference, and I'm gonna try to make it as for your audience. I'm gonna change. Um, there's two parts, right? Part B only covers 80%, right? Vision or hearing, no Part D, no prescription.
Okay.
Medicare, although it's a free, because it's all across the U.S. Like if they have the same card than people in Florida, people in California, and it's through Social Security, and there is a federal entity, right? So
Mm-hmm.
from you paying tax in years, you know, earning your accumulating 40 credits. That's what you have to it in order for the government to give you, and you have to be up in age. So you have to be us in order for you to collect Medicare. Although it's a federal plan, like I said, so just keep in mind, senior must pay $164 for the Part B Medicare. That's the rate for 2020. Last year was $170, so a small little decrease. And most for the drug plan is around the cheap $15, and I think that's with human, and that's only for you to take prescription. Like there's different plans, but I'm just gonna tell you that it's $18. So there is no free part unless I prove again the state that you cannot afford it, and we can get to a Part D. But it depends on the state. The state manage that financial help for you to get Part D. Now, supplemental plan, I have original Medicare intact. By intact, meaning that you can providers like you probably already care. That means that Medicare pays for whatever Medicare doesn't pay, that should pay. So imagine this case of the gentleman that broke the leg, I don't know, whatever, in his house, and then they took her to the emergency. They took him to the emergency hospitalization, and adding to few and everything that is covered, right? Deductible, the deductible will not be, and Part B has only 80%. When it goes to Medicare takes no pay. That's what many practitioners love it. Pay in a fee statement. Remember, have a special amount that they will cover, and that's Medicare regulation, and that's so they know how much to charge in advance. They're gonna get paid for Medicare, and whatever Medicare does not cover, you know, then it goes to that because the supplemental plan is a private one that covers this, and it's in the insurer has amount of money. How much is it? It depends on the state, the sex, the company. But many people will identify by letter. The most popular plans are planned unless you were born before 65, before 2020. If you born after of you turn 60, they give a plan G or a plan N. Plans are based on co-payments and stuff to that. But normally I tell people that Medicare, original Medicare intact, secondary. So imagine that we are writing like when you go to put gas. Some people go to put a gas and they have a discounted the mobile gas station, and they get they have to show those 2 cards, and they have additional coupon, right? Have to show those 2 cards because primary and the secondary is a supplemental plan. For purpose of terminology, people know that they need an addition called everything supplemental. Supplemental. The other on TV that is 0 primary, 0 special month, 0 Advantage plans. Those plans are something because they know that most people won't have that. Why? Because imagine, I'm going to give you an example because you're in New York. In New York, a person wants to pay a supplemental plan, $64, rounded up to example. For probably a supplemental plan G is going to be $60 more or less. Location, I think even $200. $200 plus 100, 370. Part D, $20, then $390. Remember that I don't have to cover there or dental. So if you want a vision and dental plan that costs $50, so we're already in the, you know what I mean? It's close to.
Hold on, darling. You keep getting. I'm sorry to cut you off the time, but you can go in and out. I don't want people to miss this information. Let me see. Make sure it's not at my end. Okay. Hello?
Yes,
Okay.
I can hear.
Okay. Okay, go ahead, darling. Because I money you was going, I don't want people to miss the information, especially, we don't know who's watching or who grandparent or just themselves,
Sure.
that want this information. So go ahead. I'm sorry. I just want to make sure people can hear it.
No, I'm sorry if it's cutting off. We had held that can attribute also to not such a great connection. Early in the morning and all the way through to who knows. Anyhow, so many, so they 100 mark, right? Like $420. So more have the $5,000 to have is for what if. I have people that they for 2 or 3 years and they have dollars in those 3 years, and they say, so maybe with a high cost, of time. So the government knows that not every dollar. The average senior in New York, that is one of the most in the country, right? Right in the California is the most expensive, but $2,000 amount in a Social Security check. That's the in New York State. Unless you're in a Section 8 or something 20 years ago, and you're still and you're not being kicked out, and chances are that it's gonna go to your groceries. You know, like
It's
$100 a week.
expensive.
So these are my household. We are three. You spend a good probably $300 or $400 a week. You know what I mean? And my son doesn't count. It's pretty between two people. You know that on top of that, your cell phone bill, cable bill. You know, minors they're already in the negative. So that the advantage plans have got in the past because as you can see, inflation has a lot to do with it. If last less, you could afford it, and you were used to, example, eat salmon, and 5 of salmon was $10. Of salmon is $20. Stop eating salmon, or you have to
Yeah.
get to salmon expenses. And it's good to eat healthy, but position that if you don't eat healthy, then you only eat junk, right? Like if you only go to
Right.
McDonald's, you're
Mm-hmm.
right. So then at the end of the day, so then that's the reason why many advantage popular in the last years. Like if you go back 10 years ago, we're all about the supplemental plan, and that was the mentality that many doctors say that that's wrong, but realize is that most people don't have enough a year to spend insurance cost, not even copayments or the doctor or, or whatever other copay arise in the future, right? Or
Right.
then or whatever they need, because if you don't have good you have stomach problems, So, but I had many customers that have stomach problems because they don't have dentures, and they have to change it.
Right. Yeah.
Not basic thing, they have to come out of pocket, So plans what they are is a subsidized program, and it encapsulates all of them. A, Part B, and Part D combo. Like when you go to Burger King, say, I want combo number 5, right? Dunkin' Donuts or whatever you want. You, it comes with and the sandwich and the French fry about which
Comes
size of each
everything.
one, everything included. Now the problem
Um.
that many doctors or practitioners have combo normally is a net program, meaning that you are not part is not covered. You know what I mean? So you can see or the dispute come. People say yes, but that program that is rich, I would say, well, it's garbage if you really have money to pay for the 5. If you don't have money to pay the $5,000 a month reduction, because most advantage plans cost, so it's no money. So if you are being Medicare and it's only 100, multiply that by 12, we're talking about you're to 1,800 a year. Complete the difference, 5,000 to 8.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a big, without counting the fact that advantage plans, all of them cover that drug program. You don't have to pay the $30 or the $18. You don't have to pay for dental vision. You don't have to pay
It's
for
already
hearing.
included.
Yeah, so if you want glasses and I check up all the time, every year, glasses work, then right there is a no. So most people are inclined to, and they are considered low income. In this country, 12,000.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody makes between 12,000 most of a year, most of the time they're gonna be advantage plan because they really pay $5,000 a year. It's too much. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
And some people get big promoting advantage plan, and it's not that I'm promoting or the supplemental plan for that matter. Sit with everyone, and I make sure an idea of their financial situation, or I recommend anything. No matter how much you like something, if you can't afford it, I love roller coasters. I
Right.
love them. But you ask me
No.
if I and they live in it versus the answer from me is, if I don't have the money to pay for a Rolls Royce, at least with $1,500 a month. There's people that can afford it, and yay for them. But some people cannot afford a month on car alone for insurance. Plus, the main, not only the car, is the maintenance, dealership. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you're gonna pay $1,000 a month just because you, God bless you, but not everybody's to spend a good thousand. Is that 30,000? Yeah, it's like it's more than that, right? It's 1,500, 2,500. Yeah, it's $30,000 a year. $30,000 a year in current expenses. With me, like, we're talking about a very population, and you will find that people like New York, California, even Florida, where there is a lot of immigrants with low income, they are gearing more on the supplemental plans. And also because if you go to Mississippi, with all respect to the whoever is listening, if they're from Mississippi,
Mm-hmm.
Plan G plan, there is dollars. Well, if you only six afford it, but how much people in Mississippi? What I mean, like, finding somebody that makes Mississippi, somebody that is almost rich there, your $50,000 a year is a joke. After tax,
Right.
you are only $1,000 liquid, and you can $1,000 a year in New
No,
York
but
City.
that's true. I mean, it's interesting that you mention that because, I mean, when it comes to the difference, I guess it's based on your financial situation, right? When it comes to
Yes,
supplemental and advantage plan. But I know from my experience, when I deal with, because I get authorization for patients, and what I think is that one of the things that I always hear a lot from a lot of the patients are they don't realize that the minute you join a Advantage plan, that you are actually adhering to the guidelines of that particular payer,
yeah,
right? And they
correct.
always one thing that I always get is, but I have Medicare. This should automatically be approved. They don't,
No,
but they're not. Yes, you do have Medicare, but now you combine it, like you just said, a combo. That you
yeah,
combine your traditional Medicare, which is when she said, I want to speak up. When she says original traditional, she means Part A and B. That's traditional Medicare.
correct.
Because I want people to get lost when we try to mention that
It's called
they don't.
original.
Yes, original So people don't. A lot of patients that I come across, they're under the assumption that I have Medicare, even if I have, let's say, a payer insurance, whether it's Health Plus or another insurance. Oh, but I have Medicare. This is other. This should get approved. I shouldn't have no problem. But once you do that, you're actually adhering to that particular payer policies or guidelines based on what they guidelines
Correct.
are. So, like Tatiana said, it's all based on your economical situation. So if I always say it's always great to speak to a professional that could break it down for you based on she'll break down your financial situation or what's going on. She'll ask you certain assessment questions so she could give you the best possible outcome for you. Because that's heartbreaking when they come in there and they think they have a payment or a deductible payment and
And
they're not realizing that they do have one.
something about it, like, in that is no surprise to all of us, right? No free ride in America, right? Like, I think
Yeah.
that we kind of joke about it, right? Like, there's everything has a price. So I don't know if you're when the cell
Yep.
phones. I think that you're. I wasn't brought up with cell phones. Like, in my time there were no cell phones, right? So I think that we or 24 when the cell phones became more, probably like 20 years ago. In the 90s, I think that it was enough for us to have cell phones. And I don't know if you remember. I don't know if you and I were the same six. So anyhow, I remember when I got my first cell phone. That was when or 22 or something like that. What is affordable? I mean, it was affordable,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, I think that it cost me 200. Now that is like $900 for a cell phone, but at that $900, I remember those times that they said you can pay a month and everything is included. There was no data, but all included, or you can buy this little car, the money on it, right? Like finish, your
Oh,
car.
okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember those.
Because you use it for emergencies, right?
Yeah.
I don't have money, because you get used to it, to call, or somebody
Yeah.
calls you back. So they kind of the same analogy to Medicare. Like you're only you have to worry about it, and everything's gonna be covered. Like you said, your client that says because I have Medicare, is that cost a supplemental plan because you're
Hmm.
paying money, besides whatever Medicare to cover those, so you don't have to worry about it. So meanwhile, the other one that is they get money from the government because otherwise your bill will have to be, and like I tell everyone, seniors turning 65 country. So then just do your math every day.
Hmm.
They were talking about 89,000, round it up to, or 100,000, round it up.
Right.
So they now 1,000. Multiply that by 12 months, it's 5 million people every turning 60,
Hmm.
and
That's a fact.
all of them, are in their age right to what they were promised when they were 40. You're 65, you're going to have health insurance, pension, and you don't have to worry about it. And they want to claim those benefits. Second, if it's 5 million people every year being destroyed until 2030, year of the baby boomer that is going to turn, then we have another, that's 35 million people on the expense of the government. You think that the government will have to take care of all those people submitting? It's a lot of people, employees.
That's a lot of, yeah, that's a lot of people.
As the government really don't have that fight to add all these people in it. That's how we, meaning the insurance agents, became a boom. Really look after resource. Go talk to a senior, and the senior said, "I've been this. Nobody calls me back. I'm over there." So then, in reality, more needed because most people don't relationship with somebody. Like if they know you, because I talked to Karen last month. I want to talk to Karen because Karen knows what happened with this dog. People, most seniors, mostly, probably we don't care because we're up oriented of the problem. But most
Hmm.
seniors have health insurance to live for prescription pill. They want that with someone. They want that for them by name, and also being known for them or for their by name. So you cannot have the number, So most people wait to know their story, and for them, like you very well said, and they don't understand. So and that is not perfect. It's not perfect scenario anywhere. And in the U.S., even if we go plan, that's another subject altogether, right? Maybe they call it dual plans, Medicaid. They are also network because you can find a specialist, around. You can find, a dermatologist that charge. I can tell you because my experience. I went to Bill Bay in the Bronx, Pelham in Westchester County. I charged $800 for patient versus that they can charge 100 in Utica. Your friends, all of them, they're in the same state. They have their north borderline with Canada, many customers. The other guy that is one of the most expensive counties. So perfect plan out there because insurance company for a reason they want to keep a small pocket, and they give you all the membership or OTC. Go to the pharmacy and get try for free, or you can get food for groceries now. You
Yeah.
there
Oh yeah, with the yeah.
because they want you to be in good health. Bad health, you're gonna end up in the hospital, and so the government has relied on for the insurance company to take care, keep you in good health. So then you have a liability that I know that it sounds awful. It's a business in America. The health,
Mm-hmm.
don't get it confused. Is to make money on it. You know, the pharmaceutical, the insurance company, everybody. So Security Administration, because they don't do it. The fact that they are quote unquote getting rid of you, go into an advantage plan. That's how they call it, to manage plan, right? They for you with Social Security Administration. You know, you have to pay at one point with a supplemental plan, or you with an advantage plan that has co-payments, maximum out of pocket, you know, things that for in one manage, you know, the plan and manage there, because otherwise it wouldn't be a profit, and they are there to make money. Don't get it confused. They
Yeah,
are
that's true.
there.
That is so true. So let's talk about one thing before we close. I know that Medicare changes every year. Everything changes, and I know one of the things that you just mentioned as far as the initial enrollment period, which is one thing, because I want to share two, if you can, two best tips that you could give people to avoid any kind of penalties or any Medicare tips. I know the first one you mentioned was the initial enrollment, to know when to enroll based on you turning 65. So that's one thing that people should definitely look into. And she said, remember, 65 is this the month you're 65. You have 3 months before and then 3 months after to apply for original Medicare. That way you can avoid any kind of penalties. So outside of that particular one, is there any other tip you want people to take home with them so they can avoid any penalties, or just a tip that they should kind of look into or consider when it comes to Medicare within itself?
The first one is, if you are plan, there's always answer from October to December, and any plan you want, and then you set into another plan. If and you can change your plan. We don't want you. I don't want anyone to think that they're married to the plan and there's no not like that.
Mm,
You know, there are options. So in some states, chronic plans, they have a chronic condition like diabetes, kidney failure. We might be able to midterm, like, you know, I had people that they have kidney failure, and then there's a stations, and they need a kidney transplant. Might not have a good coverage reason. Sometimes we can change into midterm. Also, if they are low, we can apply for help to the state income. If they cannot, you know, so to ask for an exception to the rule, I might be able to change them. So there's a way fulfill your needs in a precise way. So my is to find somebody like me, not want to deal with me, that's fine. But one that, you know, you can trust. So your neighbor went to that. Maybe, you know, you will fall in person for a long time. You see them here and there, and then you see them in so many places that maybe are somebody that, you know, that ask the right questions. Don't be questions. You
right.
are the one that is. So ask the right questions will give you the right answer. Which one is the best plan? Is not necessarily the right one. The plan that it can be good for my dad, he can has high blood pressure. Mine for somebody that has kidney failure. I plan for somebody that is
Right.
fully healthy once a year. That's it. Although they're not perfect, I want everybody to ask questions. And if something to, and suppose this is the get an advisor for seniors, get up questions that you are asking. That's not for you, because I have to make sure that everyone, at least that's my job, that's the way that I look, feels comfortable with the decision that they have, the plan that they have. And I want to me to be satisfied with, and if whatever they want is not fine, people that they tell me things that that's not gonna fly here. I'm gonna. I have somebody that wanted to have like the Jennifer Lopez bag. She wanted to have like a. I cannot. There is no such a thing here in America in the regular, health needed. But sometimes, yeah, because they went to a doctor and that doctor, and it happened that that person had hear the whole story. They might plastic surgery is covered in the Medicare, plastic Medicare. He gets upset by you asking questions, and that agent might not be for. We have to make
Right.
sure that you are so why is covered and why is not covered. Things change
Right.
every year to ask questions, and is is your coverage. You use it. You are the one that in this limiting in case doesn't cover. So to ask questions. It's like buying a car. You're not gonna buy a car just because it looks pretty. You are gonna ask the right questions about probably how is in gas or costs with
Right.
insurance. Do you think it's a wonderful place to be? It can be very, but if you have look confusing to you, and ask the hard questions. Like asking hard questions. Whoever doesn't want to answer those, then they should be doing
They will not be the
something else.
person for you.
Yeah,
Right.
no,
That's true. That's
really.
some good points, especially when you just mentioned about asking questions. Like if you are going to a professional agent or insurance broker, right? Especially to get your health plan, you need to be asking questions, right? How much is going to cost you? What does it cover? Maybe we could come back for a part two if you want, if you're able to discuss a little detail, maybe questions that they should be asking
Sure.
to know, because some people don't really know what to ask, and that's the reality of it, right?
That's
um
exactly.
so maybe it's
Feel I'm bothering someone, but it's like going to the deal with doctors. It's like going to a doctor,
yeah,
and you're not even gonna ask, "Oh, I got it." I
right,
mean, don't you want
right,
to prevent it? In the same, to have to ask the right questions to be you to be your best advocate, right? I mean, I don't know what to tell me. So if you
right,
don't tell me, I don't know, back pain for the last 2 weeks, accident, I cannot assume back pain. So my advice is with them, be open with them, and what are your needs, because are very different than my needs. We have different states, whatever,
right,
whatever, whatever. Right questions, right answers. Do it.
yeah,
Make sure that you listen to work with you, because it's a partner, somebody that is going to support you out a year to help you stand when you're the one. Well, we get a license and we get certified every year. That we know the regulations every year. 100 hours of training every single.
right.
I know what is changing. Is available for you area. You, So if
Yeah,
I'm
we
not
definitely got. Yeah, we definitely, because Medicare is one of those topics that it could be such a long topic, right? Because it's just so Medicare is something that not just the what we discussed today, but it's just so many changes that are happening in Medicare, and then we talking about maybe give them, so maybe let's put it on hold. But the time if you could come back, maybe you should talk later on. We could talk about that because I would love to give people part two of this conversation because I really truly feel that this could be a part two coming. Otherwise, we're gonna be here for 2 hours, and everybody, people got things they got to do. So a part two, guys, look out for that. I'll speak to the channel later on the back end and see what we can agree on a time for you guys to come, for you to come back and discuss a part two. Because I think people need to have maybe some tips, right? Not just for what questions should be asked, but then also how to avoid fraud. Because
I was
Medicare fraud is a big, big thing.
you to know which plan or work for you and how to identify because
Yes, yes,
it
how
was
to identify fraud.
yeah
I mean,
because your
seniors
name
get, yeah,
AYC company is good
yes,
that's good what you have
yeah,
their own appetite you know what I mean like you are a Honda's good car for what you know what I mean you're gonna drive in the mountains
yeah,
you need a long distance you need a four-wheel drive where do you live we live in New York City that is so flat like just in a regular street that is South Dakota or
yeah,
Michigan
definitely.
or or even if we go to freaking Texas areas that there's no gas stations miles so it's very difficult to just say it's good or not good based on what important conversation
Right.
have confused
Yeah.
those calls a lot told me this plan is good well your girlfriend
Yeah.
has another
No, I agree. I mean, I agree with everything that you just mentioned as far as the fraud. You know, the senior population is the ones that always getting hit to be scammed. And let's be for real, right? They get them calls, right? They get them text messages and they don't know how to not to click on the text message links. Right, or they get the calls and they give them all the information because whoever's in the line give them a story and they fall for the story. There they go, right? So
enrollment
yes, it's a big.
they authorize call me I don't know how my plan can and I end up with
Oh my God! I was just about to say that I had this lady years ago that she said she got a call and somebody literally disenroll her out of her Medicare plan. And I was like, well, how did that happen? Did
yes
you tell them? She said, well, I got a call on the phone and I started giving them my information. Why do you think Social Security numbers got written out of the Medicaid cards? For that particular reason. Like, but Tatiana, in closing, because this could go another hour, because this is Medicare on the loan
I
standing, and we can even go into billing aspect of listen. It could be
oh
a long conversation.
that's another hour
That's
that's part
another conversation. So, how can people reach you? How can they connect with you? I'm gonna put your LinkedIn here and your email. But if you have any other way that you want people to connect with you, please share so they can connect with you.
yes they my office when they don't have no plan with me 743-9847 a number when somebody is not because it will be somebody 20 hours a day that it can even collect and they make an appointment with me later on we're 27 people in so it's
What's the
very
number again, darling? Sorry, repeat the number for me one more time.
201 743
201. You said wait. 201.
98
You got cut off there. 743.
947
Why you keep getting cut off when you?
they don't want to give they don't want 201
wait, wait. 201.
3 9
9.
8
Why so slow?
7 4
7.
8 4 7
I got it later from you. I'm gonna put it in the I'm gonna put it in the thing because every time I get cut off. I get it. I'm like, oh my god, I feel so slapped. But it's
I'm
Tatiana.
sending
Thank you.
one so you can
You gonna
have
send
it
it to me now?
you know yeah.
Okay, send it to me now, and I'll put it in here right now.
Okay I
No,
send you
but
for 3 Where I send it.
Okay.
Look at the. That's my line for
Oh, I
people that
got
they
it.
don't have
Okay.
no no planning. And the reason why I do that number is because somebody always available 24/7,
Ah, it's a
almost.
24-hour line. It's
Yeah.
a 24-hour line. Okay, so there you have it, guys. You got a 24-hour line to get in connect with Tatiana. If you don't have any insurance plan, or you have questions about your, if you have questions, let's say about your current plan, right? I'm sure she's gonna be able to give you maybe
And,
suggestions or
and
break it
we
down
charge,
to you.
many people ask me, how much do you charge? We don't charge for consultations.
There you
Want
go.
me to take a look at it because that they might have a better somewhere with another plan or problem. Like they think that here that I can get this. We definitely can take a look, and we are licensed the carriers, the most principal
Mm-hmm.
carriers, small carriers out there that they are not it. And to be honest with you, if I see problems, I rather not even offer because I don't want the senior and that is gonna cause them problems. So I'm not gonna name the companies out there that they are a little bit depending on the state and all the time. Listen, I can refer you to somebody that I don't promote
Right.
this for this.
Right.
And
Right. Right. Right.
because I don't want to call me 3 months from now saying I have because the insurance company doesn't want to happen. Then I have to help them, right? Because I put them in my
Yeah.
responsibility.
Right.
I don't want to have that bad review, but I take it because I was the advisor then, and I don't want it to be a reflection of professionalism that I didn't
Right.
advise. I don't support this. You know what I mean? So, but if they want, who am I to say, right? They are the customer.
Yeah.
But they want. I know people everywhere because I've been in this industry so I know people all the time, and I help them even if and then what you're gonna do. I wish
Yeah.
them
That's true.
hopeful, but I don't. If I don't feel comfortable, I won't give it to my dad or my mom, or I don't recommend it because it's use. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. So, guys, there you have it. I hope today's live was very impactful and very it was insightful, especially more than anything because I really wanted people to come in and at least the one-on-one in Medicare, right? Because Medicare and a standing alone could be very, very confusing for a lot of people, right? And it is. It's a very confusing entity if you don't understand it. So this is why I wanted to have this conversation, bring a professional in to break it down for you guys. And connect with Tatiana. She speaks all about Medicare, all about insurance. So connect with her via LinkedIn. If you have a question, that you have her number. You can send her email if you have any other questions for any reason. But please do connect. Don't be ashamed to ask
yeah,
questions, like she just mentioned about health plan or any other question you might have.
I was
So
gonna
I hope everybody.
and,
Go ahead, darling.
and just to close it up, I was gonna say that many managers rely on me, help them with even educated because to be honest with this manager or even the billing, or the
Yeah.
doctor's office, right? That they're so bombarded with so much that they don't
Yeah.
have time to go with the senior why
Hmm.
this is not covered or why they have this deductible payment. So I have many partnerships with office, from the billing department. This person wants to have this operation, ask them about it,
Right.
and then I have a lot of resources managers that they people that I don't know if you know this, but what you are forced to get from your IRA account or your 401, and many health insurance funded health insurance plan, they 70 years old too.
Mm.
So they more and more they are keep stretching. They're gonna retire and they get to 70. They're still working, but they're not anymore. So then they say,
Oh
"Oh,
wow.
what do I do?" They have this is so a customer plan, and they're afraid to go into Medicare too. So then many human resources, small business owners, they have 20 employees, 30 employees, can be the primary coverage instead of insurance. They could please take care of these 2 employees or 3 that are turning 65, because they know, right? Like normally people, are a bunch of people and they stay with you for 20 days. They kind of merge together.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been a great resource. I've been great because they don't have the time. Confusing, like you said,
Yeah, they
every day
busy.
changes, and they are to the payroll and the benefits and the late hours and the timing and everything in between, and 40 minutes to an hour senior. What is the transition gonna look, and what are penalties if there's any like that? So I welcome a partnership. I'm good for those. I can be a resource.
Okay, folks, there you heard it. There you heard it in closing. Reach out to Tatiana Torres once again. Everybody have a great Wednesday and you have a beautiful evening. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Adios.